At the lavish Palazzo d'Oro restaurant, 24-year-old Sarah Chen moved between tables with a quiet grace that belied the storm brewing inside her. For 6 long months, she had endured the relentless, leering gaze of one particular patron, Robert Matthews. At 52, Matthews was a real estate tycoon, a man whose wealth was as vast as his sense of entitlement. He saw Sarah not as a person, but as an object for his amusement, a recurring character in his twisted power plays. Every shift she worked, a knot of dread would tighten in her stomach, hoping he wouldn't be there. But he always was, a predator in a bespoke suit, his eyes following her every move. The restaurant management, blinded by the money he spent, told her to simply be professional and not make a fuss. She was trapped, her shyness and financial desperation chaining her to this daily nightmare. One bustling Friday night, the restaurant was buzzing with the city's elite. Matthews, seated at his usual VIP table, flagged Sarah down with an arrogant snap of his fingers. He had a smug grin on his face, the kind that made her skin crawl. "Could you be a doll and get that for me?" He gestured to the floor beneath his table. Every instinct screamed at her to refuse, to walk away. But the manager was watching, his expression a clear warning. Taking a deep, shaky breath, she complied. Just as her fingers brushed against the cool metal of the phone, a brilliant, blinding light erupted. For a split second, the entire restaurant was illuminated. The clatter of cutlery stopped. Conversations died mid-sentence. Every eye in the room turned towards the source of the flash, Robert Matthews' table. He was holding his phone, an ugly, triumphant sneer plastered on his face, the screen clearly showing a photo he had just taken up her skirt. He had forgotten to turn off the flash. Sarah froze, kneeling on the floor, the world spinning around her. His vile act was laid bare for everyone to see. Panic flared in Matthew's eyes. He fumbled with the phone, desperate to delete the evidence, but his hands were shaking too badly. Before he could succeed, a calm, commanding voice cut through the tension. A man from the adjacent table stood up. He was in his mid-40s, dressed in a simple but elegant suit, his presence radiating an aura of quiet authority. This was Gabriel Morrison, the CEO of the tech giant TechVision. He had been dining alone, observing the scene unfold. Before the flustered businessman could react, Gabriel plucked the phone from his grasp. "Let's see what we have here," he said, his voice dangerously low. He glanced at the screen, his expression hardening. "Just as I thought." Matthews, finally finding his voice, sputtered, "Who do you think you are? Give me back my phone. That's private property." Gabriel didn't even look at him. He held up the phone for the restaurant manager who had rushed over to see. "Is this the kind of professionalism you encourage here?" he asked, his gaze like ice. Then he calmly dialed his own phone. "The perpetrator is here, and I have the evidence in my hand." As he spoke to the police, Gabriel turned his attention back to the room, his voice rising to address the stunned diners. "This man," he said, pointing a finger at the now pale Robert Matthews, "isn't just some random creep. This is Robert Matthews, the same Robert Matthews who settled a harassment lawsuit from his former assistant for $500,000, the same Robert Matthews whose last 2 development projects have been plagued by accusations from female contractors that were mysteriously buried. It seems his hobbies are as predictable as they are disgusting." Every word was a hammer blow, dismantling Matthews' carefully constructed public image. He shrank in his seat, the powerful tycoon reduced to a cornered criminal. Gabriel then turned to Sarah, who was still on the floor, tears streaming down her face. He knelt beside her, his voice softening completely. "Are you all right?" he asked gently. "My name is Gabriel Morrison. I saw what he did. I am so sorry you had to endure that, but it's over now. He will not get away with this. I have the best lawyers in the city. They work for me, but tonight they will work for you. We will sue him, and we will sue this restaurant for allowing this to happen. You will not pay a single cent." When the police arrived, the scene was almost surreal. The powerful Robert Matthews was escorted out in handcuffs, his face a mask of fury and disbelief, his threats echoing through the silent restaurant. Gabriel handed the phone over as evidence and gave a clear, detailed statement. Later, as the chaos subsided, Gabriel sat with a shaken Sarah in a quiet corner. He didn't just offer legal help, he offered an explanation. "You might be wondering why I did all this," he began, his gaze distant for a moment. "When I was 12, my mother was a housekeeper. She worked for 30 years, cleaning the homes of wealthy men just like Matthews. I saw them. I saw how they looked at her, how they spoke to her. One day I saw one of them corner her in a hallway. I was just a boy. I was terrified. I hid. I did nothing." His voice was thick with a pain that was decades old. "I never forgave myself for that. I promised myself that if I ever had the power, if I ever had the chance to stop something like that from happening again, I would. I would not stay silent. Tonight I saw my mother in you. I saw that same fear, and I couldn't just sit there again." But Gabriel's support didn't end with a promise of justice. A few days later, he called Sarah. "I have a proposition for you," he said. "For months, I've been a regular at that restaurant. I wasn't just watching him, I was watching you. I saw how you handled difficult customers with patience. I saw your efficiency under pressure, your attention to detail. You weren't just a waitress, you were managing a dozen chaotic situations at once, and you did it with grace." He paused, then continued. "I have an opening for a customer experience manager at TechVision. It pays $45,000 a year, and the company will cover your tuition to go back to college. This isn't charity, Sarah. This is a job offer. I'm not hiring you because I feel sorry for you. I'm hiring you because I believe you are competent and talented. I'm hiring you for the person I saw, not the victim he tried to make you." For the first time in years, Sarah felt a flicker of hope ignite into a flame. She accepted. Fast forward 6 months. The transformation was astounding. Robert Matthews was sentenced to 3 years in prison and ordered to pay Sarah $250,000 in damages. After Gabriel's public takedown, 12 other women, emboldened by his actions, came forward with their own stories. Matthews' empire crumbled into bankruptcy, his name now synonymous with disgrace. And Sarah? She wasn't just surviving, she was thriving. She was a senior manager at TechVision, excelling in her role while pursuing a degree in business administration. Her empathy and strength made her a natural leader, and she spearheaded a new mentorship program for young women entering the tech industry. Together, she and Gabriel developed a profound bond, built not on a dynamic of rescuer and victim, but on mutual respect and admiration. Inspired by their shared experience, they co-founded a non-profit organization called Flash of Hope, dedicated to providing legal aid and career support for victims of workplace harassment. Their story is a powerful reminder that sometimes an accidental flash illuminates more than just a crime. It can illuminate a path to justice, to healing, and to a new beginning. It shows that true power isn't about exploiting the vulnerable, but about choosing to protect them. It proves that one person's courage, one act of standing up for what is right, can be the catalyst that changes countless lives for the better. Thank you so much for watching. If this story moved you, please consider liking the video and subscribing to our channel for more content that aims to inspire.